The Milwaukee Brewers have done the unthinkable once again. After coming back from a major deficit, we're going to be breaking this game down, going over Jacob Misiorowski as his first game off the IL was not the one we anticipated, as well as a very special game from Christian Yelich, using a very special bat as just one part of this game. We're going to bring it all down here in this video. Before we do jump into the rest of the video, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already and you're looking for all of your Milwaukee Brewers news, be sure to hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel. We notice just over 98% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel, but we also want you guys to stay up to date with all of your Brewers news, and we're going to have it right here as it comes out. I'm a bit late to this game. I do apologize, just getting home now, but of course we had to cover this. And after watching this game, seeing a pretty rough start and thinking that this win streak would come to an end, this game was one that Brewers fans all knew was going to happen. And I feel like this is crazy talking about this. Coming back from an 8-2 deficit and winning this game 10-8, and as you see there, the box score, we take a look at this and kind of analyze it off of that. The first two innings, that was not the greatest look. Jacob Misiorowski, we're going to jump into him here in a few minutes, kind of going over what happened with him, his start, and where we go from here. But I also want to talk about, the bats on this team, because this is a win that the Brewers have, really emphasized to themselves and to the rest of the MLB, to the fans, that they know they can do. And coming into this game, and especially going into it, the win streak you're on, you're expecting a team like this to come out here, and you're down like that, go out of momentum. But that was not the case, and that's not what the way this Brewers team is structured. From Christian Yelich, what he had to say, and we spoke about it in a few videos ago, kind of the mindset behind this team, that they don't care what the win streak is. They don't care that they're on a win streak at all. They just want to go out here, win games day by day, especially where this team don't necessarily have major superstars on it like some of the teams across the MLB. I don't want to say that nobody's spot is safe, because I think that's all, more than safe at this point, but we know that we have so many players on this team, and the players as well know that they could be easily replaced day in and day out. But jumping into this game and taking a look at how this team really went ahead, we look at our top performers here from, of course, MLB.com, and Christian Yelich, 2 home runs, a double, 5 RBIs, 4 for 5. Andrew Vaughn, another home run, 3 RBIs, and Brandon Lockridge, 3 for 5, and going for a double. That's a guy that we acquired at the deadline for games like these, where you need that extra help in the outfield for fielding, but also is able to lay down the bat when need be. And I think that this is a perfect example of what the Brewers team at the trade deadline was really going out to acquire. But, that's what we've been able to see over this 13-game win streak and beyond. But jumping in to the entire box score, I really wanted to highlight once again, not just a few people, but the entire team. And Brandon Lockridge going 3 for 5, going there. A few other players, and, nearly everybody got a hit on this team today. And apart from, of course, one player, but, that's not anything that we can really complain about, of course. But going in and looking through this roster, you're seeing the hits this team is producing. You're seeing how good this team has been. And you're seeing the average in the OPS sitting around really a base, minimum of 700. And that's something that is genuinely crazy to say in today's MLB. Seeing a team that's averaging just under a 700, or, I feel like actually just over a 700 OPS, and seeing Joey Ortiz move from that 9-hole up to the 2, going for 2 hits and 5 at-bats once again, is just another promising thing, and I feel like it's a broken record at this point, talking about all of these same players, but these are wins that you don't see very often across the MLB. But for the Brewers, this is just a regular game, a regular day, and especially going from the top to the bottom. Now, there was one player didn't really have a regular day, and that was Jacob Misiorowski. And as you see, 1.1 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, and 5 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and now sitting at a 3.89 ERA. Now, I don't want to say that this is something that we expected, but this is something that I think we're all really, fine with for the time being. Give me a minute to explain myself, because I know that's really not the best way of putting it, but looking at Jacob Misiorowski, who was on the IL for, we're close on 2 weeks after that shin injury, we knew that he was up there really on the IL for that arm, to rest his arm up and kind of go from there. He definitely could have pitched. I think it was just an option, a very good excuse to let him rest. We know that him and Logan Henderson, 2 of their rookie pitchers, are at their pitching limit that they've had throughout the previous season. So at this point now, with so many games left to go, and yes, you're in first place, but that don't mean anything. That can change very, very quickly. And going into it, you want to have your best pitchers available, especially for games that mean a lot near the end of the season. And I think what this game really told us, that this means a 6-man rotation is coming. And as we saw as well, Jacob Misiorowski yesterday in the video I mentioned, may have been the starter, ultimately was, but we had some other pitchers ready to go, and whether that meant a six-man rotation, whether that means Logan Henderson will go down to AAA when he returns, it just gives the Brewers options to make sure that Jacob Misiorowski is going to have the help, and we really think that, he probably didn't pitch very much, didn't throw very much at all, actually. Went on the IL just to rest that arm. So coming back as, really one of his first real long sessions, and my guess would be coming in here, you're seeing him do that. You really can't complain. You expect something like that for someone who hasn't thrown for a while, likely. And when you're coming to take a look at after DL Hall, really, that was shut down baseball from every pitcher that was thrown in here. And DL Hall, of course, came in for 2.2 innings. 3 earned runs, 5 hits, and 1 strikeout. Really kind of held it down, even though he let up that few extra runs there in the second inning. But at the end of the day, the Brewers got the win. You're getting Jacob Misiorowski back on even longer rest, and now coming into, we're going to have a decision to make as a six-man rotation or not. But going into this as well, you take a look at his previous games. He's out of a 3.2 inning before, 4 innings, 1.1 in this one, and even taking that big rest from the 28th to the 15th, nearly 3 weeks, just over 2. Gives them the opportunity to save him a little bit longer, and give him extra rest days heading down the stretch here. And of course, the Brewers have a 99% chance, 99.9, I should say, actually, percent chance to make the playoffs. So that's not a worry, but this is just something I think we should keep on tabs, take a look at how he progresses into his next game, and go from there, because that would be my guess. And I'm not sure if anything was wrong. It didn't seem like it. Just seemed like kind of a slow day for Misiorowski, and that's going to happen to any pitcher in the MLB. And, no matter who you are, I think that's something that Jacob Misiorowski has really yet to face in his MLB career, and a very young MLB career at that. Now, this is one thing as well from Adam McClavey here that kind of pointed this completely out. The Brewers relievers retired the final 23 Reds hitters in that game, and going into a game that, in the second inning looked like it was kind of out of reach if it was for any other team other than the Brewers, the fact that you have a bullpen, not necessarily big names in that bullpen once again, that come into this game, shut these games down, especially against a Reds team that, not necessarily the best team in the MLB, but certainly can win games against any team across this league. And going into it, a competition later on throughout the season, needing to win these games against the Reds, and now going against the Cubs upcoming in the series with 2 games left in this Reds series, this is a great sign going forward. And even though, I'll go back to it, seeing 1 inning from just about everybody after DL Hall, that's just a promising thing. And Trevor Megill coming back in, closing this game out, and you're looking at the ERAs across the bullpen. They are phenomenal, and that's one thing that this Brewers team is going to really come down the stretch with and hold with pride, because we know that if Jacob Misiorowski's pitching in some of these games later on that necessarily don't mean a whole lot, but it's his turn in the rotation, we may see him back at these 3-inning games and let the bullpen go and put their work in. And I think that's one thing that this team is not necessarily concerned about, but are definitely keeping an eye on going down the stretch. Now, I do have one more thing before we finish the video off. For those who are looking at the odds and understand odds and kind of use this as a point in the game to kind of understand where the Brewers currently stood or were standing, they were a plus 1,800 underdog on the money line, and they made the comeback for the 13th straight win on a night that, once again, as you probably saw in the intro video there was a Bob Uecker bat being used from Christian Yelich. And he went on the end of the game to kind of speak about the importance of this game. Bob Uecker as a whole to the Brewers team, to Milwaukee. And that kind of just goes to show where the Brewers' mindset is. They're not focused on winning games. They're focused on the fans, the people around the team, the staff, everybody that's been involved with this team, the legends, the history on it. They know where they got to be, and they know what they're going to do. And I think Christian Yelich, as a leader on this team, is really making way by example. I just wanted to point that out as well. I'll throw it in the intro video and let you guys kind of take a look at that. And there's a few tweets out there I do recommend going and looking at it if you're on Twitter or X, and going to see what Christian Yelich said at the end of the game there in a few post-game interviews. So that's all I got in this video. But let me know what you think about this game. Let me know what you think specifically about Jacob Misiorowski, because I feel like we're seeing kind of a different team now. And, even though Jacob Misiorowski on the IL came back here on very limited pitches, I was going to guess, and I would assume, but the game, the importance, the meaning behind this, and how they managed to do it, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, this is genuinely insane where we are with the Brewers this season. 13-game win streak, and lots more to come. But I'm going to breaking it all down as this series goes on, as we get to the Cubs the rest of the season into the postseason. You won't want to miss it. I'll have it here all for you guys. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.